Alright folks, so I am helping my nephew today build a new tank for his new betta fish, and all I've done so far is taken a 10-gallon tank and I've cleaned it, and now I've got this stuff called, this is my favorite stuff to use, this no rinsing eco-planted aquarium substrate. And I like it because it's already got the biological filtration media in it, and it's all natural basaltic gravel. There's no artificial plant, paints or dyes, and you can mix it with other substrate if you want, and you don't have to rinse this stuff. It doesn't make your water all gross and cloudy and everything. My bettas love this stuff, so all we've done so far is poured it into the bottom of the 10-gallon tank. And then we're going to start spreading it out, and then we will plant our plants and add our water and then our little fish friend. But we'll kind of do that step by step. I'm going to pause the video for now because this is step one. Literally all I did was pour this bag into this 10-gallon tank, and we're going to spread it out a little bit, and then we'll start putting the plants in. So stay tuned. Okay, so what we're doing now is we are moving the plants and rocks and everything out of a much smaller tank that was just used for plants, and he is taking the plants and he is placing them into this. Now remember, that side's going to be higher, so you may want to hold off on planting that one in that corner. But we are just moving the plants. This is going to be a natural planted tank. Excuse the dog, she's wanting me to open the door, but we're just moving all this stuff over, and we will be adding more plants as this goes along, but this was this is how we're getting started here. Okay, so if you want to pick that, just move the sponge filter over. Now guys, obviously this sponge filter is not anywhere near the size that we need for this tank, but right now it's going to create some aeration for the betta fish that we've got. But obviously that's going to need to be a much larger filter, and we will work on that. But this is kind of an impromptu filter. Yeah, you can pour that in there. And what we're going to add too is this little thing is called a feeding ring. And these are really cool because you can actually train your betta fish to come to this area of your tank. And you can go ahead and do it. You can train them. So what you do is this suction cups to the side of the tank, and then this thing floats, and you can train your betta fish to come to this little ring here, or they make them in a square or other things. But you train them just to be fed right there, and then if you set up like an automatic feeder, like a slow feeder or something, if you go on vacation, then that fish knows to come to that feeding ring every single day and get their food out of the feeding ring. So that's always kind of fun. I use these for my bettas. I have three betta tanks at my house, and I have trained each one of them to utilize the feeding ring. So now if you want to scoop that out, what he's done now is he has transferred some of the water from the other tank, that little small tank, into this one. And for this particular tank, we're gonna build up the corner of it and give the fish a little bit of terrain, so to speak. So he'll have a deeper area here, and then he'll have a little steeper area over there. But we'll get him some stuff like a floating log and a lot more plants. These planted tanks are great because it's a betta's natural environment. So we're gonna get the rest of this out of here, and then I'll pick this back up in just a second, so hang on. Okay, so as you can see, we are slowly filling this with water, and it is tap water, but we're treating it with prime, and we're also treating it with some conditioner, just to make sure that because we don't want the Betta to go into stress, and we're just making sure we put some API stress coat in there as well. But what we are doing is we've got our temperature, our heater is going to be set. It's not set yet, but it's going to be set to 78 degrees. So we are using tap water that we have a digital thermometer on the tap water, and we're filling it with 78 degree water. That way the heater won't have to work nearly as hard, and it can just maintain the temperature of the water when we get everything finalized here. All right. Okay, so the grand finale. We have been working to finish up this little guy's tank. We have added some, some big rocks in here. We actually picked these up from Petco, and we got this kit called Seru Rock. It's an aquascaping kit. We went ahead and rinsed it, and because it was just kind of dusty, and then we checked it for sharp edges, and then if there were any sharp edges on it for his fins, we went ahead and filed them down just using a little file. You can see here, like, this beautiful piece is quite large, and it had a built-in little indentation there, so we actually made that a cave for him, just by digging some of the substrate out and setting it accordingly. Right here we have a dwarf Sagittarius plant. This grass, that's what that is. We've also got some, let's see, where's that one? Well, there's a Java fern in there, there's some Christmas moss, there's, I can't remember the name of those big leafy plants, but, they sell them at Petco. And then we've also got some Radican, which is this little plant right here. These are the plants we actually picked up from Petco. We also picked up some Mopani wood. Mopani wood is great for tanks because it puts these beautiful tannins into the water that are great for betta fish. If you don't want your water to have tannins in it, you can actually boil the wood in hot water. Well, it's obviously going to be hot if it's boiling, but you can take water, boil it, and then boil that for a few hours in just on a constant basis, and it'll get all those tannins out of the water. But honestly, betta fish love the tannins. And the thing about the Seru rock is it's going to raise your pH a tiny bit, whereas the Mopani wood will lower your pH. So it creates a nice balance of your pH levels. But the Christmas moss we just put in there, we kind of pulled it apart and we tucked it underneath the rocks. And what will happen is that Christmas moss will eventually attach to the structural things in here, like the rocks and the wood. And the idea was to kind of use the Christmas moss to hide the heater. And we sank an air stone, we buried it, and then of course the sponge filter. So little Aladdin is now in his new tank. He's down here. He is a gorgeous little male Dumbo half moon betta fish, and he's really just exploring everything. He's trying to figure it all out. He went from being in a teeny little cup now to this gorgeous new tank, and he is quite curious about everything. So he's checking out his new digs, but I think he is going to very much enjoy this because he's got all sorts of little hiding places and new things to explore. So all good for little Aladdin. And see him, look at him. Oh, he's just fluttering away like, wow, this is so cool. So he's got a beautiful new space, plenty of places that he can make his own and not have to be trapped in that stupid little cup. But overall, I think this is a great tank makeover, or a tankover. Nice 10-gallon, and he is going to be one happy little fishy. So we just need to get a lid for it, and we're also going to pick up one of those lights that actually goes through a 12-hour cycle, and it mirrors the photosynthesis and stuff of the sun. So like in the morning it will start out really light, like a you know, a little orange color, and then it'll throughout the day it will bump up, in, you know, kind of like mimicking the sun. And we get those on Amazon. I've got them on my Betta tanks at my home, and they really work well. They help your greenery to stay nice and green, and they help everything to grow accordingly. So everything stays nice and healthy. But let me see if I can get him better. There's Aladdin. He's moving, so he keeps going out of focus here. Oh, there he is. Hey, little man. There he is. He's just kind of investigating everything. And that's to be expected. So, anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed the tank over as much as we have, and certainly as much as Aladdin is right now. A couple of things to note, folks, when you're building out a Betta tank, or really any tank for any fish, when you are using these rocks especially, you want to make sure that you always leave enough space for them to swim in between the rock and the side of the tank. You don't want them to get stuck. So as a matter of fact, while I'm looking at this, I'm going to go down in here, and I'm going to move this one a tiny bit just so that we make sure. Whoops, I wasn't even filming that. Anyway, what I did is I just moved this rock over because there wasn't quite enough room between this rock and the edge of the tank for my liking. I like to make sure that there's plenty of room for them to get by, because I've heard horror stories of Betta going down in there and getting stuck in between the rock and the side of the tank, or another hard place, as it were. And you certainly don't want that to happen, because they can end up, believe it or not, they can end up drowning, because Betta fish do need to come to the top, and they need to get some air. So we definitely want to make sure that he has accessibility to all areas of his tank without getting stuck. So anyway, there you have it. And that's the little guy. He's very happy. Aladdin says bye-bye for now. And I think he just won the fish lottery. So, all right, you guys take care.